Mr Bishop.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. At the start of my short call this afternoon, I just want to pay tribute to Martin Crowe and his loss. I think a real loss for New Zealand cricket and New Zealand society, really. He was a childhood hero of mine, and I know that there will be many New Zealanders around the country feeling this loss very keenly. I just want to pay tribute to his enormous role in the 1992 World Cup, but also his ongoing role, particularly the development of Cricket Max, which was the precursor to 2020. He was an innovator and a visionary, and not the least of which a fantastic batsman. Sir, I just want to briefly mention what I think is the biggest advance in this bill, and that's the changes that it makes around preterm babies. And we've already heard a reference to this by David Seymour in his contribution to the debate. And it's really an example, I think, of MMP at its best in some ways, of the Parliament through the process of negotiation and mediation acting on something that is important and everyone agrees, I think, should be dealt with. And so what this bill does, sir, is it provides extra assistance for parents who have preterm babies, entitles them to a longer period of parental leave than the standard 18 weeks if the baby is born prior to 37 weeks of gestation, which of course is considered full term. So it provides for extra weekly payments. And sir, I think, as David Seymour made reference to in his remarks, that is what a socially just society does. It's what a society that has the prosperity that enjoys the prosperity that allows it to provide assistance like that to children who, through no fault of their own, and to families who, through no fault of their own, the birth lottery are going to be placed into difficult circumstances. That is what a society that has the prosperity to spend money on that does, and that's what this government and that's what this Parliament, I should say, sir, is doing, and I think that's very important. The other thing I want to mention, sir, that I think is a real advance for New Zealanders is the bill introducing the keeping in touch provisions. So this is allowing employees to work up to 40 hours a week during the period of receiving parental leave payments, sir. The bill has some safeguards around that. It provides for employees and employers to consent to that work. But what I think, sir, that will do is allow people to transition back into the workforce. And that is going to be a real advance for working mums out there and for families. And sir, we know that we have a high female labour force participation rate, but we also know, sir, that we need to maintain that. And we need to make sure that people who want to work can work, but also, as this bill does, and it strengthens that assistance, also provides assistance for mothers and fathers to take time off to look after their children. But sir, that is a real advance, I think, those keeping in touch hours provisions. Sir, this is a good bill. I haven't addressed any of my remarks to the negotiations or the ongoing discussion around 0 hours. My personal view is that it's a bit of a shame that the public debate has become fixated on that term. I think the public debate's become a little bit confused about what we mean by 0 hours and the differences between that and casual contracts. But I think we are getting to a position in the Parliament where we're legislating in quite a consensual way, or I hope that we will eventually legislate in quite a consensual way to eliminate the punitive elements of contracts that various speakers over the last hour or so have made reference to. And I think that will be a step forward for employment legislation in the Parliament. Acknowledge the hard work of Ian Lees-Galloway on this issue. He's been a very strong and forthright proponent of his point of view on this, and he's done a good job in that regard. Sir, this is a step forward for employment legislation in New Zealand, I believe. It contains a lot of useful provisions, and I commend the bill to the House.